Well, this is my 5th year making this video, and obviously I'm not in my usual studio. I'm here in beautiful Munich. This is Marienplatz just behind me. But I thought I'm not gonna break the chain. It's late, I just watched the Apple event, but I have to save you money. And look, ultimately it's your money and it's your priorities. I'm not here to...
Thinking about dropping $1,200 plus on the iPhone 17 Pro Max? Hold up. Before you pre-order, there are 6 serious problems Apple's marketing won't tell you about. I've tested every iPhone since the original, and this year's upgrade has red flags you need to know about. Reason number 1, the storage scam Apple keeps pulling.
Or at least my storage made it. Talking about storage, a massive alert though on storage. If you're eyeing up the 1 terabyte or 2 terabyte option, please think again. Because even if you can afford it, it's just throwing money down the toilet in most cases. Honestly, this is the oldest trick in the book. I strongly recommend you consider external storage via SSDs. Sure, it's not as convenient as having that on your phone, and there are plenty of reasons for buying more storage with your phone. But I will guarantee most people would be okay with maybe 512, okay, 1 terabyte if like the edge case, but 2 terabytes, I think people who are using 2 terabytes to record storage, might be to record videos, or even if it's like, this new format that Apple's coming with, the Vision Pro format, fair enough. But most people would use that footage on a computer. It's far cheaper than jumping storage tiers. And look, as I said earlier, I don't care if you use my affiliate links or not. I only get like £3.50 anyway, but it pains me when I see people overspending on storage with Apple. So yeah, do yourself a favor.
Apple starts the iPhone 17 Pro Max at 256 gigabytes. Sounds generous until you realize what they're actually doing. They removed the 128 gigabyte option entirely, forcing you to pay more for the base model. But here's where it gets insulting. Jumping from 256 gigabytes to 512 gigabytes costs $200. Going from 512 gigabytes to 1 terabyte? Another $200. That's Apple charging you $200 for storage that costs them maybe $25 to manufacture. And if you're eyeing that 2 terabyte option at $1,799, you're literally throwing money away. Here's the reality nobody talks about. External SSDs cost a fraction of Apple's storage upgrades and work seamlessly with iPhones. A 2 terabyte external SSD? Around $150. Apple charges you $600 more for the same capacity built in? But it's not as convenient. Fair point. But how often are you actually storing 2 terabytes of data on your phone versus offloading to a computer? Unless you're shooting ProRes video professionally and need immediate access to hundreds of gigabytes daily, you don't need 1 terabyte or 2 terabytes. Most users would be fine with 512 gigabytes and a small external drive for backups. Stop paying Apple's storage tax. It's the oldest trick in their playbook, and they're counting on you not doing the math. Reason number 2. Apple Intelligence is still half-baked.
Features, Apple promised a lot with Apple Intelligence, but right now it feels a bit behind. And why is this a consideration in this buying guide video? Well, I keep hearing these stories from households where there's an Android user in the household, and that person basically becomes the AI person. The funniest one I've heard so far, and this is a true story, the mum takes a photo on an iPhone, sends it to the dad, and asks, right, can you remove the distractions for me, please, using your Android AI. That's hilarious. But it's also sad, right? Because, when you're spending that much money on an Apple device, you'd think, I want to have those features as well on my iPhone, right? If you're buying an iPhone for AI features, the bad news for you is, the iPhone still it's not quite there yet, still playing catch up. Despite what you may hear from people in Cupertino right now drinking the Kool-Aid, they'll say that Apple Intelligence at the moment is the best thing ever. Also, should you get Apple Care Plus, for example?
Apple promised revolutionary AI features. What we got? Underwhelming at best, embarrassing at worst. Here's a real story from an iPhone household. Mom takes photo on iPhone 16 Pro. Sends it to dad who uses Android. asks him to remove background distractions using his phone's AI because her iPhone can't do it reliably. That's where we are with Apple Intelligence in 2025. While Samsung, Google, and even budget Android phones offer advanced photo editing with object removal, real-time translation, contextual AI assistance that actually works, on-device processing that's genuinely useful. Apple Intelligence gives you better autocorrect suggestions and summarized notifications that often get the summary wrong. The writing tools? Mediocre? Siri improvements? Marginal? Image generation? Months away from being useful. You're paying $1,200 plus for AI features that are still under construction while the competition delivered functional AI over a year ago. Apple's counting on you buying now for features they promise will arrive later this year or early next year. Don't fall for it. You're paying full price for half-finished software. Reason number 3. The battery situation nobody mentions.
For minimalists who want the lightest feel, and perhaps you want to maybe detox yourself from tech, right? And having something that is limiting is actually a good way. I mean, we've seen lots of different devices from Nothing and other phones that are minimalistic on purpose to make you, less inclined to use it. But if you're a busybody, definitely think twice, because Apple didn't just say, oh, because we got such a thin phone now, we're able to create this incredibly thin battery pack. It's like, that's a red flag, man. I'm sorry. But yeah, just be aware of that. A reality check as well here is, I'll cover where the Air makes sense once I've tested it properly. I don't want to be too cynical here. It's my job, right? It's how I am. And if you met me down the pub or whatever, this is how it would sound. But remember a few months ago when some huge reviewers said nobody asked about thin flagship phones. As it happens, I do have the Samsung S25 Edge is in my studio, and I am gonna order all the...
Yes, the iPhone 17 Pro Max has the biggest battery in iPhone history. Here's what Apple won't tell you. It barely keeps up with the power demands of the A19 Pro chip and that always-on display. Real-world battery life? Mixed at best. Heavy users, people actually using ProRes video, running demanding apps, navigating with GPS all day, report the Pro Max dying by late afternoon. But Apple says up to 33 hours video playback. Cool. How often are you watching downloaded videos on airplane mode with brightness at 50%? That's how those tests work. Real usage. 5G connection, location services, camera use, apps running, cuts that dramatically. And here's the kicker. Battery degradation. After 12 to 18 months of charging cycles, that battery capacity drops 15 to 20%. Your all-day battery becomes better carry a charger everywhere. Meanwhile, you could buy the regular iPhone 17 Pro, save $200, and buy a quality power bank that extends battery life for years. Or, controversial opinion, keep your iPhone 15 or 16 Pro Max that still has great battery life and save $1,200 entirely. Reason number 4. The camera upgrades aren't worth $1,200.
Confidently that you're not wasting your money. So best value for everyone, whether you're coming from an Apple phone or coming from an Android phone perhaps, is the iPhone 17, the regular one. The right answer for most people anyway, go with 128 or 256 gig. Even saying that to me feels completely wrong, but basically don't pay Apple tax for huge storage tiers like, unless you truly shoot like loads of 4K ProRes photos or you keep like large games offline. There's not many people who do that, but there are clever solutions out there. I've reviewed a ton in here. It's still very convenient to make sure that you don't overspend on storage. I'll leave a link to a video down below. Honestly, I don't even care if you use my affiliate links. I just want to make sure that you are getting the best option and that at least make you aware that you can use convenient options out there for maybe an extra 100, 200 that will give you like 2-4 terabytes down the line. Much cheaper than Apple's. Now the cameras on the regular iPhone 17, this is just my quick...
Apple marketing makes it sound revolutionary. our best camera system ever. They say that every year. Here's reality. Unless you're a professional content creator monetizing your iPhone footage, the camera improvements over the iPhone 16 Pro Max are marginal. Yes, there's a new 48-megapixel Fusion camera. Yes, there's improved low-light performance. Yes, there's better computational photography. But here's the uncomfortable truth most tech reviewers won't say. The iPhone 14 Pro Max takes photos 95% as good for most use cases. That's a phone you can buy refurbished for $600 to $700. The iPhone 16 Pro Max? Still available, takes nearly identical photos in good lighting, costs $400 plus less. But the new sensor! Unless you're pixel peeping or printing billboard-sized photos, you won't notice the difference scrolling Instagram. Social media compresses everything anyway. Your stunning ProRes video gets compressed to oblivion on TikTok. If you're a casual shooter, family photos, vacation memories, social media posts, the camera upgrade doesn't justify the cost. Save the money. Invest in lighting, composition skills, or editing software that'll improve your photos more than a marginally better sensor. Reason number 5. The Pro Max size isn't for everyone.
A huge iPhone, and that's probably the one I would get, at least initially, is the 17 Pro, not the Pro Max. If you're a fan of the big screens and you need, I was talking to someone earlier this week about the use of big screens, and if you are using that for driving, for navigation and things like that, there are, reasons to go for the Pro Max. Or maybe you just want to flex a little bit, then the Pro Max is definitely the one to go for. I feel safe now. Police is driving by. Hooray. For me, this is likely the sweet spot for creators. The best new cameras, kind of the camera performance ratio without the max size. From a design engineer as well, that I always say, right, if it makes you happy and you can afford it, why not? You worked for this. It's great to have nice things as well. I have to recognize that. Okay, let's talk about the 17 Pro Max now. I'd say only if you want the big screen, brilliant, but not the default recommendation for me. For many years, I personally thought that the Max was the one for me, right, since the singular Pro last year. But please take this with a huge pinch of salt as well, because for the last 3 years, I've been using a foldable device.
The iPhone 17 Pro Max is massive and heavy, really heavy. At 6.9 inches and over 220 grams, this thing is a brick. Apple markets the big screen as a feature. For some users, it's a deal breaker. Here's what nobody tells you before buying. One-handed use? Forget it unless you have unusually large hands. Pocket comfort? It bulges awkwardly, especially in women's clothing with smaller pockets. Extended use fatigue? Your hand cramps after 20 minutes of holding it. Gym or running? It's too big and heavy for most armbands or pockets. But I want the big screen for media consumption. Valid. But ask yourself, how often are you watching long-form content on your phone versus a tablet or TV? And here's the thing. The iPhone 17 Pro has the exact same cameras, same chip, same features in a significantly more manageable size. The only differences: screen size and battery capacity. You're paying $200 extra for a bigger screen that makes the phone less practical for daily use. Unless you're using it for navigation, elderly users preferring larger text, or truly consume hours of content daily on your phone, the regular Pro is the smarter choice. Stop buying the Pro Max because it's the flagship. Buy it only if the size genuinely improves your experience. Reason number 6. The iPhone 16 Pro Max is still available.
Hype this video, it gets recommended out there. As someone who's doing everything by himself, this really helps me get discovered out there. And after this video, watch my proper, studio content as well. And if you like it, make sure you subscribe. It would be awesome to have you here. I promise most of my videos are not like this, even though, tell me if you liked it as well, because it's a bit impromptu, but most of my videos are quite in-depth as well. I do comparisons. I'm gonna definitely be comparing the 17 Pro Max against the S25 Ultra, because, I compared it against the 16 Pro. And I know some people might say that it's not really like for like, that I've got to wait for the S26 Ultra, but I don't know. It's what's available right now, and I'm pretty sure most of you want to know as well. how does the S25 Ultra compare against the 17 Pro Max, and you can guarantee that video is coming here as well. By the way, if you're watching this, at least my camera made it, or at least my storage made it. Talking about storage, a massive alert though on storage.
Here's the option. Apple desperately doesn't want you considering. Just buy last year's model. The iPhone 16 Pro Max is still phenomenal. Same basic design. Fantastic cameras. Excellent performance. Great battery life. And with the iPhone 17 launch, prices dropped significantly. You can find iPhone 16 Pro Max models for $300 to $400 less than the new 17 Pro Max. What are you missing? Marginal camera improvements you won't notice in real-world use. Slightly better chip performance that doesn't matter for 99% of tasks. Apple Intelligence features that still don't work properly. What are you gaining? Hundreds of dollars in savings. A phone that'll last 4 to 5 years easily. No FOMO because you're still getting a premium flagship experience. The 3-year upgrade cycle made sense when phones improved dramatically year over year. In 2025? The improvements are iterative at best. If you're on an iPhone 13 or older, upgrading makes sense, but to the 16 Pro Max, not the 17. If you're on an iPhone 14 or 15, skip this generation entirely. Your phone is still excellent. Who should actually buy the iPhone 17 Pro Max? Despite everything I've said, there are people who should buy the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Professional content creators whose work depends on the absolute best mobile camera system. YouTubers, Instagram creators, mobile filmmakers earning money from their content. People who genuinely need the biggest screen, accessibility users, navigation-heavy users, elderly users who struggle with smaller text. Users on iPhone 12 or older looking for a meaningful multi-generational upgrade. People with more money than sense who just want the newest flagship and can genuinely afford it without financial stress. If you're in those categories, go for it. For everyone else, you're better served by the iPhone 17 Pro. Same features, better size, $200 less. The iPhone 16 Pro Max, nearly identical experience, $300 to $400 less. Your current iPhone 14/15/16, still excellent, $1,200 saved. The smarter alternatives. If you're set on upgrading but reconsidering the Pro Max, here are genuinely better options. iPhone 17 Pro. Same cameras, same performance, way better ergonomics. Save $200. iPhone 16 Pro Max. Last year's flagship, still phenomenal. Massive discount now. Save $300 to $400. Refurbished iPhone 15 Pro Max. Certified refurb with warranty, 90% of the performance, half the price. Save $600 plus. Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. If you're considering alternatives, this genuinely competes with better AI, better multitasking, superior customization. Similar price, more features. Keep your current phone, seriously. If you're on anything iPhone 14 or newer, you don't need to upgrade. Put that $1,200 toward literally anything else. Use the saved money for quality accessories, cases, chargers, external storage. Apple Care Plus if you're prone to damage. Investment in your hobbies or skills. Emergency fund. Literally anything other than marginal phone upgrades. The bottom line. The iPhone 17 Pro Max isn't a bad phone. It's an excellent phone. But it's not 1,200 plus excellent for most people. Apple's marketing is designed to make you feel like you need the newest, biggest, most expensive option. You don't. The storage upgrades are a scam. Apple Intelligence isn't ready. The camera improvements are marginal. The size is impractical for many. Battery life isn't miraculous, and last year's model is still phenomenal. Unless you're in the specific categories who genuinely benefit from the Pro Max, and you know who you are, you're better off saving money and choosing smarter. Your 2 to 3 year old iPhone is still great. the regular Pro offers the same experience in a better size. Last year's Pro Max is available at massive discounts. Don't let FOMO or Apple's marketing convince you otherwise. Make the smart choice. Your wallet will thank you. 6 reasons you'll regret buying the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Not because it's bad, but because it's overpriced for what most people actually need. Drop a comment. Are you upgrading or skipping this generation? Subscribe for honest tech advice that puts your needs over hype. Because the best tech purchase is the one that makes sense for your life, not Apple's bottom line. And remember, the most expensive option isn't always the best option. Sometimes the smartest move is keeping your money and your current phone.